I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Future Possibilities. And that is because the sign of the future, Aquarius, is rather well aspected right now. So, if you have a creative, inventive mind, you could be preparing for your future, and you could be wanting greater freedom of expression as you try to sort of escape the current turmoil in your life. Well, the planets are here to help you with that. And that is because the sun today is at 10 degrees of Aquarius, and Aquarius rules the future. But Mercury, the planet of the mind and communication and planning and thought, is at 11 degrees of Aquarius. These two planets are the most closely conjuncting planets of all of them in the heavens right now. And because they're in the sign of Aquarius, it means that it would do you a lot of good to be sort of thinking of future possibilities right now. It doesn't mean that you can do everything, but you can be certainly headed in the right direction if you try to think of ways that small ways that you could perhaps make some changes in your life. That would be great. And that is because some odd things are happening in the heavens right now. There are 12 sun signs and houses. But today, all 10 planets are only in 5 of the houses or signs. And so that means that in one area of your life where all 10 of these planets are rather compactly positioned, you can have things that are sort of up in the air. You could be pretty busy right now, or things could get a little bit hectic. But in the other 7 houses or signs in your chart, there aren't any planets, so maybe there's just nothing going on. And that means that your life could be either very calm or somewhat stagnant right now. That may not be such a bad thing, because you can't be busy all the time. And so it might be nice if you could catch a few moments of calm at times. However, there are some things that are contributing to this busyness right now, and it can be that since there are 5 planets in the active dynamic fire signs, you could be under their effect because they're all trining each other. So Uranus and Mars are in Aries right now. Aries rules new beginnings, and Mars is the ruler of that sign. It's at 21 degrees today, and Uranus is further on. It's at the 29th degree of fate in Aries. And so these planets are now 8 degrees apart, and tomorrow they'll be 7 degrees apart, and that is the start of a conjunction. But they are malefic planets. They're up to no good. And they can represent overdoing something, or even represent some sort of attack. And since it involves Uranus as well, it could be a cyber attack or some sudden surprising change. But these 2 planets in Aries are really being well backed up because they're being trined by Jupiter, the Moon, and Venus today in Sagittarius. So the advance at a distance can certainly be working out, or among the courts, or in higher education, or long distance travel can certainly be well favored because these 5 planets are in a grand trine. And that simply means, since they're in fire signs, that impetuous actions can sort of erupt very spontaneously right now and move forward. And that simply means that fast movers are willing to try anything right now. And yet, there is a curious balance, a strange balance in the heavens as well. And that strange balance comes from the fact that there are 4 planets in mutable signs, and they're all squaring each other. And then there are another 4 planets all in cardinal signs, and they too are all squaring each other. So there is the possibility, since these are pretty evenly balanced, 4 and 4, that you could make an effort in one direction, but it might be canceled by somebody else making an action in another direction. In other words, one effort could cancel out another at this time. And so that can be because the 4 planets that are squaring each other in mutable signs our Neptune, which is in Pisces, and Neptune is the ruler of the sign, so it's very strong there. And that Neptune is squaring that wonderful Jupiter, the Moon, and Venus, which are all in Sagittarius. And that simply means that there can be a lot of double talk going on right now. By double talk, I mean people can be saying one thing in public, but they are doing something completely different in private. In other words, they're talking out of both sides of their mouths. So it isn't a good idea to trust everything that you hear right now, and you should be extra careful to check whatever anybody says before you believe it. The second evenly balanced square is among 4 planets in cardinal signs, and that is because that Mars and Uranus in Aries, a cardinal sign, are squaring Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. As of today, Saturn has moved into a conjunction with Pluto, and Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. Its strength is compounded because it's conjuncting Pluto. And remember, starting tomorrow, Mars will move into a conjunction with Uranus. So these 4 planets are a little bit deadly right now because they involve the 3 malefic planets. Mars and Uranus are malefic planets. They can act suddenly and quickly and aggressively. But Saturn is a malefic planet because it can be a little hard on people at times and be very stubborn and insist on doing things exactly right or doing them over. And it tends to move sort of slowly and thoroughly. And Pluto is a planet of deep truth and power. So we have a pretty strong square among the cardinal signs. What should we be doing because of all of that? Well, actually, that's why the show is called Future Possibilities. Because of this very strange balance in the heavens right now, what's really happening is that with all 10 planets in only 5 signs, and the 5 signs are Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and Aries, the 2 planets that are right in the middle are that wonderful Sun at 10 degrees of Aquarius and Mercury at 11 degrees of Aquarius. Because Aquarius is a fixed sign and there are no planets in the other fixed signs, there's absolutely nothing challenging these 2 planets. There are no harsh aspects to the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius at all. That's why you really should be thinking of future possibilities right now. But in addition to that, all of the other 8 planets, those 4 that are squaring each other in mutable signs and the 4 that are squaring each other in cardinal signs, are actually all surrounding these 2 planets in Aquarius, and they're all sextiling them. And a sextile is opportunity, represents opportunities. That's why if you are looking forward toward your future instead of backward toward your past, you would now be able to make some easy transitional changes that could make your life better and happier. And the reason why they can be just small, easy things is because Mercury is conjuncting the Sun in Aquarius. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. These 2 planets are trining Gemini and Libra. But Gemini does rule easy transitional change. It may not be forever. It might be temporary, or it might be just something that is very short term right now. But it could be easy for you to do that. And if you're making some easy changes that can benefit you in your future and make you happier, then that is the way to go right now. And I don't think there would be anything stopping you. So good luck. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that you not only can be very popular because there are 3 beautiful planets in Sagittarius trining your sun, but also you can be quite willing, since you could be supercharged right now, you could be one of those fast movers that's willing to try anything. And so I think that, Aries, you should look before you leap right now. And the reason why is that your sun sign has Uranus and Mars in it, and they are going to start a conjunction tomorrow, which is actually a dangerous conjunction because they're both malefic planets. And they are squaring Saturn and Pluto, which are in conjunction today. And so I think that if you move a little bit too quickly, there could be some people coming up that are going to be very steadfast in their traditional values. And I think right now, any new beginning of any kind is not going to be able to override the steadfast values of very experienced mentors that have already been successful and know what they want. And so you could run into a few people like that right now, Aries. And so it might be better if you looked before you leap and think things over before you move forward too quickly. Because if you do and you run into a brick wall, that could represent a costly mistake that you would have to pay for. And I know you wouldn't like that. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, in the background of your life, there can be a lot that's sort of up in the air or causing you stress in one way or another, because Mars and Uranus in Aries are right behind your sun sign. But Saturn and Pluto, which are squaring them, are actually trining your sun sign. And that simply means that if you want to make some spontaneous, impetuous activity behind the scene, you want to just do something right away, I would caution you to think long and hard about that before you really do that, because first of all, you don't know if it's going to work or not. So, you know, you could regret it. And also, the planets that are trining your sun, Saturn and Pluto, which have now moved into a conjunction in Capricorn, are so steadfast right now and so supportive of you that I think that if there's something that involves your career or your long-term security, and you're devoting yourself to that, you are going to get a lot of help with that right now. And also there is the possibility that if you're willing to work hard without complaint, that there could be a promotion in the air somewhere. And if you were thinking that you wanted to better yourself in your future, then stay where you are and just work a little harder, because there is the possibility of a promotion coming your way this fall. So think twice before you make a big jump, Aries or Taurus. I don't actually think you need to do that right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, I think that you really are thinking of future possibilities, and that's because the Sun and your ruler Mercury are tightly conjunct in Aquarius, and they are trining your sun sign. So I think that you really are going to be able to make some sort of easy transition, possibly more than one. There can be many opportunities to make small, easy changes in all of our lives. But I think that you are going to be able perhaps to reposition yourself in some way that is a little bit easier on you and also on others. And so I think that if you're thinking of any kind of a future possibility, my advice is, hey, go out and explore the possibilities right now. Because even if there's one thing that you don't like, there's going to be another that you do like. And so that's why you really need to think about expanding right now, because the stars are really with you, particularly your own ruler and the Sun. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I urge you to be as quiet as possible. In fact, your sign is the sign of the crab. And when crabs are feeling threatened or they don't like something in any way, they crawl into their shell. And that's what you really need to do this week. And the reason why is that there are some very fierce planets, including all 3 malefic planets, which are in harsh aspect to your sun sign. And that's because Mars and Uranus in Aries are squaring your sun sign, and Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are opposing your sun sign. So whether you are moving fast or somebody else is, I don't think that's going to make you happy. And if other people come along and say, hey, wait a minute, we're going to be steadfast and we want things to be done absolutely correctly so they can be successful, that is going to create extra pressure on you as well. So I think that, yes, you can be thinking of future possibilities. Everyone can right now. But I'd keep them to you myself if I were you, Cancer. And if there is a lot of turmoil around you, or things appear to be sort of up in the air right now, I would not make any comment, and I wouldn't even be available for comment right now. This is a time when you need to crawl into your shell, because it's the safest place for you right now. So just try to be as quiet as you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, This is a time when you can be willing to try anything, and that is because Mars and Uranus in Aries are trining your sun, and so today are Jupiter, the Moon, and Venus in Sagittarius. So you could be thinking of a long-distance trip, or there could be very good news from somebody at a distance, or it can be that other people are urging you to make a new start and to get in there and do it fast. But I don't think you should. And the reason why, now you might want to make a new start, but it's the speed that I'm talking about. I wouldn't move too fast right now, Leo, even though you could really feel like doing that. And the reason why is that the only two planets that are in fixed signs right now, and they're not being harshly aspected at all, are the Sun and Mercury in Aquarius. But Aquarius opposes your sign. And so if somebody is thinking of their future possibilities, I think it's somebody else, and they are going to be able to go out and explore different possibilities. You may as well wish them well, and you also could make some easy transitional changes. They would sort of be right where you are. And it could be in your health habits. It could be in your sleep patterns. It could be the way you exercise. It could be things that you do in your job or your career that if you just tweak them a little bit, they'd make you a little bit happier. You could do all those things, Leo. But if you're wanting to get off to some spontaneous new start, I urge you not to jump into that right now. And the reason why is that I think you need to think a little bit more about the future and what it's going to cost you. And the problem is I don't think you know what all the costs are, and therefore you cannot be certain about your future, and certainly you can't be certain about your income either, and the effect that changes will have on it. That's why I would slow down a little bit right now. I think you just need to sort of wait for things to happen. Certainly wait for someone else to explore their future possibilities and see where that leaves you. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think, since yours is a mutable sign, that you can be very affected by people who are talking out of both sides of their mouths. In other words, there could be a lot of double talk going on for you, Virgo, and you may not know who to believe because Mars in Pisces is opposing your sun sign, and the Moon, Jupiter, and Venus in Sagittarius are squaring your sun sign. So it simply means that you may not know who to trust, and that could even include news from far away or involving some sort of travel plans. Those may need to be changed, and they also could tend to be much more costly than you were anticipating. So you'd have to think about that. And also, I think that you can't actually count on what's going on right now. For one reason, there's such a dynamic force among the fire signs that fast movers are quite willing to take any kind of a risk and sort of just go for it right now. And that isn't the way you operate. So you need to be a little bit calmer right now, Virgo, and stick to long-term plans. Not vacation plans, but I mean career plans or your long-term security. Because Saturn and Pluto have now moved into a conjunction. They're going to stay that way for the whole rest of the year in Capricorn, and they are trining your sun. By March, when Uranus moves into Taurus, it too will be trining your sun. You really have to get very serious about your career and your long-term security and your health this year. And that's enough to concentrate on. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when, just like Cancer, I think you need to be pretty quiet, but that doesn't mean you can't be thinking of future possibilities. And so remember I said that there's a curious, strange balance in the heavens right now among 4 planets in mutable signs that are squaring each other and 4 planets in cardinal signs that are squaring each other. And they are 4 pretty dangerous planets in a harsh aspect, and yours is a cardinal sign. And so that is why you need to really hunker down right now, Libra, and think defensively about everything. In other words, be on your guard, have your defenses up, The reason why is that Mars and Uranus, which are beginning a dangerous conjunction in Aries tomorrow, and that will last until about the middle of February. So, you know, and they are opposing your sun sign. There could be very dangerous things coming at you a little too quickly. So don't be in the wrong place at the wrong time, Libra. That's what I mean about having your defenses up and being very cautious. And then Saturn and Pluto are strongly conjuncting each other as of today in Capricorn, and they are squaring your sun, meaning that there can be people around with a great deal more experience who already have been successful, and they know what they want, and they are going to stick with it. In other words, you're going to have to meet their standards, and that could be a little difficult for you. But the Sun and Mercury today in Aquarius are trining your Sun, and there's nothing wrong with those two planets because nothing is challenging them. But they're in trine to your Sun. So of course you can think of future possibilities, and you can make, as long as you're thinking of the future, you can make some easy transitional changes right now. They may not be forever, but my goodness, they could make you happier right now and bring you a better lifestyle. So don't be afraid to do that. It's just you have to be on your guard as well. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, there are no planets in the other fixed signs, but that wonderful Sun, which is conjuncting Mercury in Aquarius, is squaring your sign right now. And that means that, yes, you too could be thinking of future possibilities, but you know, if I were you, I wouldn't move toward them too quickly at the moment. That doesn't mean you can't be planning things, but the reason why I think you should be cautious is because I think there is a financial question about whatever you want to do in the future. And the problem is that even if you have enough money to do what you want, you still don't know about the great unknown. You don't know what else is going to come up. You don't even know what prices or conditions will be at the time that you want to do something new in your future. And this is a time when new beginnings are not going to be able to override the steadfast traditional values of very experienced mentors who know what they want. So anybody who now people, there's so much strength in fire signs, people can feel like making quick moves, but at some point they're going to meet resistance. And you know, resistance can cost money because time is money. And when people resist, that really spends a lot of time and costs a lot. And that is why I think you should pretty much do nothing at the moment, Scorpio. You can think of future possibilities, but because you cannot be certain about the costs or even the revenue stream from something you want to do, I think that this is not the time to start it. This is simply the time to continue to plan for it instead. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, you have 3 wonderful planets in your sign. Lucky you, because Jupiter, the Moon, and Venus are all in your sign, and they're being backed up. They're being trined by Mars and Uranus in Aries. So you could be having very high-minded thoughts. You could certainly be wanting the best for everyone. You could be very fair-minded right now, and you just might be in love, Sagittarius, and sort of thinking of forming, in other words, getting married or forming a very good partnership right now. One that would be with somebody who does share your values, so it could be quite compatible. At the same time, though, Sagittarius, you need to be a little bit careful about these double talkers. And the reason why is that Neptune in Pisces is squaring all the planets in your sign. So there's nothing wrong with your great ideas and thoughts and plans. So yes, you can go ahead and think of future possibilities. But I wouldn't believe everybody. I wouldn't believe everything that you're being told right now, Sagittarius. And that is because Neptune represents people who can say one thing to you, but are doing something completely different in private. And until you can check them out, I wouldn't believe everything you're hearing right now. So that's why you should be a little bit cautious. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, This is a time when I think that you can be feeling very strong because Saturn has now begun to conjunct Pluto, and it will continue to do that for the rest of the year. And Saturn is your ruler, and Pluto is a planet of deep truth and of power. And it is the co-ruler of Scorpio, and these planets are sextiling Scorpio. So you could have your mind on a project, some sort of future idea of yours, and also of how to pay for it. And you may also be able to afford it, Capricorn. But the problem is there can be other people around who could cancel out your efforts right now. That's the danger for all of us, is that one effort can cancel out another right now because of these 4 planets in different elements that are all in harsh aspect to each other. So this may not be the time for you to advertise your future possibilities, but I would say that you need to keep building out your plan, because I think that it could work really well this year, particularly after March, after Uranus gets into Taurus and trines your sun. So just bide your time. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, lucky you, Aquarius. This is a golden moment for you, Aquarius. I hope you take advantage of it. And that's because the sun at 10 degrees today is closely conjuncting Mercury at 11 degrees in your sign. And your sign does rule the future. It rules aviation, computers, space, the whole electronics field, telecommunication. It rules invention. It also rules freedom and rebellion and very sudden surprising change. So you can be really having your mind on the future, and I don't think there's anything stopping you, Aquarius, because there are 8 planets surrounding you, the 2 in your sign, and they're all sextiling your sun. And since a sextile represents opportunities, there are going to be several opportunities for you to make an easy transitional change. It may not be forever, and it isn't going to be a big change, but it's going to be pretty easy. And I don't mean just one. I think you're going to make several of them, actually. This is the time to do it, Aquarius. So really, you need to keep your eyes on the prize, and the prize is your future, Aquarius. I hope you go for it right now, but start with small steps if you can. Those are the ones that are aspected for success right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when even you too have to be careful of double talk. And that is because you may not be too certain if everyone's telling you the truth. Neptune is in your sign, but it is being squared by Jupiter, the Moon, and Venus in Sagittarius. And so you sort of need to test the waters or test what people are saying to you right now, Pisces. And this is a time when you can be on the brink of danger. And the reason why is that right ahead of your sun sign are this Mars and Uranus, which are now moving as of tomorrow into a dangerous conjunction in Aries, and they're being squared by Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. And there are no other planets in any of the water signs. There's nothing backing up your sign right now, Pisces. So if I were you, I would really check out whatever anybody is telling you right now and get it verified a couple times before you believe it. And I don't think this is a good time for you to make a big jump, Pisces, because you could be jumping into more trouble than it's worth. So I hope that you are just cautious instead. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show, read our blog, and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.